Bloody Marys. Make it feel like summer all year round. With bays at just $35 an hour, Mondays through Thursdays. That summer feel is easily back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Be greeted by an owner at America's largest employee-owned jewelry store.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee, alongside former Packer Bryan Bulaga. Here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
Yes, the Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. We already has a disagreement. You damn well should apologize for that win. That win was a joke. You shouldn't win. You should lose that game 99 times out of 100. You know how many, and someone called this in the Institute, of 100 field goals in the NFL, how many are blocked? Bryan Bulaga, future Hall of Famer. And by the way, this is just an utter joke. The Hall of Fame, Mark Murphy is in, and they're not allowing anybody else to get in because he's getting in. What is wrong with those people? I'm not going there. You think any fan wants to go to see Mark Murphy get in the Hall of Fame? You might as well get the equipment manager to get the same number of fans. Doesn't mean he isn't deserving. You need a damn player there for people to be excited about going. And, of course, Bryan Bulaga should be in. I don't know how many years it is. This year it's only. Maybe they must have done only with Bob Harlan. But I guess. But not Mark Murphy. Come on.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything. You're a member of the Packers organization.
Did that just get announced today?
Yeah, I don't know where I saw it. I think so, yeah. Okay. Today, yesterday, whatever. Yes, he's deserving of it. He's very deserving. He won a Super Bowl. You get a ring, you're in.
Yeah.
GM, Goody should. Well, did Goody get it? No, Goody hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. He didn't get a ring yet. No. But, I mean, he'll probably get in the Hall of Fame at some point. So will LaFleur. I mean, they've done enough to get into the Hall of Fame. I don't know what the standard is.
I don't know what it is either. Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I would.
Okay, and I want to apologize for Bryan Bulaga because he'll be held responsible. Somebody said that knucklehead you have on, and what do you do that? All I did was complain about Mark Murphy getting in the Hall of Fame. Not complaining. I'm just saying you want to have people attend an event. You can't just induct Mark Murphy. Because outside of his personal family and people that work for the Packers, maybe 10 people want to be there. So. Anyway, all right, sorry to make you a part of it. I should have waited for you to come on so you can say, hey, I wasn't on the show, Dan, so I didn't have anything to do with it. I just want you to apologize for the win. No. Some wins you apologize for. When you get a chance, 1 of 100, to win the game, hey, that's fine. Sure, we'll apologize. Do the apology wins count the same as the regular wins? Hell yes.
Listen, I mean, it is the epitome of lucky. Like, it is so lucky. Like, you can't, like you said it, 1 out of 100. And yeah, like, I love that phrase, never apologize for a win. Like, I mean, because I heard it a bunch in my career, right? Like, you'd win an ugly game or you played terrible, never apologize for a win.
I won a tennis match in the national tournament in Kalamazoo. I'll apologize every day because I could play that kid 100 times and I beat him once, maybe once in 1,000. And yeah, I was totally lucky. I don't know if he was sick or what the problem was, but you're right. I was damn lucky, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. You know what? Because even with an apology, I still got the win. Exactly. I won't mention his name because he's from Milwaukee and he doesn't deserve it.
You're so kind to you.
That
so
part
kind.
is, yeah.
But I just that game, like, you have to walk off that field. At least I would have as a player, and been like I heard Rob, and we'll talk to Rob too, and he said the locker room was very excited and jubilant as they they won a game that way. But as a player, I'd be walking off the sideline going, what did we just do out there? Like,
Would you?
What was that?
You know what
Yeah,
I would say to you if you felt that way? If Caleb Williams plays that well, that team can beat you 4 times out of 10. I'm not saying he's that good, but if he plays like that, the Bears can play with the Packers every day and will every day if he plays like that as a quarterback.
Okay, but then my question to that is, does that mean the Green Bay Packers offensively have to play as bad as they do every time then as well?
I think the Bears' defense is pretty good.
No,
That's what everybody knew. By the way, sir, they're starting to play like he is a Hall of Fame quarterback. All right, we can't do anything. Game's on the line. Give him the ball. Let's go down and score a touchdown. Right? This isn't the first game.
No, it's not. That's the thing. Like, when they need it, he just gets it and goes down and scores. Like, so that's why that's kind of where I'm getting at. Like, they needed it, they go get it. So, like, why don't we need it all the time then? Right? Like, the first drive, they wanted it. They went and got it.
That's why I have you on the show. You have an answer to that. What is the answer, sir?
Well, I said it on KBN, and it was my one, like, if I had one critique of LaFleur after the game, because, I mean, I don't like judging coaches and grading coaches because I think it happens between the white lines regardless. But I just think it got a little safe. It felt a little safe after the first series, right? Like, and to me, I just would have continued to just pour it on and open it up. And we saw what they did when they were pushing down the ball down the field to Watson. He was making plays. He's a big receiver that can jump over DBs, make plays. And that's when you have a guy like that, just throw him the ball. Let's see. Like, hey, they're not really 50-50 balls. I mean, he was making those look like 70-30 balls. And that's the type of thing that, like, we saw last year with Jordan Love a little bit. Like, he was trusting those guys and throwing those balls down the field, and, like, Dobbs would come up with them or Reed or Watson. Like, and I feel like they got away from that after the first series, and then it came back late. And that's obviously, you know, the game-winning drive or not technically game-winning drive, but it was that's my only critique of it. And that's why I, as a player, that's why I would feel a little bit yucky about it coming off. Like, that's why, and even
as an offensive player.
Yes.
Right.
As an offensive player, yeah, for sure.
All right, help me with this. You alluded to it a little bit. I don't know anything about play calling. I mean, I was upset on the one play because they were running so well early in the game. And then they had 2nd and 1. I got to see where this is. So their second possession. And they ran that goofy little pass. 2nd and 1 from the 5, right after Jacobs got 9 yards.
Yep.
I'm like, we're giving you the ball, like, I don't know, 5 times in a row. They can't stop us. And I would think the offensive line would like that. And then they just ran a goofy play. And then, but aside from that, help me on play calling. So you played. Were there times where you questioned the play calling? I know you're never going to say anything, but help us. And other people complain about it all the time, and I just can't do it. I might, like I said, one particular play, but explain play calling so that anybody who didn't play can understand when it's good or not good, because I find that impossible.
Listen, it is the good play callers. It's like an art, because, like, you are, like, it's like you're one step ahead of the defensive coordinator you're going against. So, like, you're calling runs when they're thinking it's pass. And I know that sounds so basic, but it's not that easy to dial these things up and the right concepts. And when you have a good quarterback, obviously he can check you in and out of things at the line of scrimmage, right? A lot of the times these guys go up with 2 plays and they can get you in and out of things. But you're calling plays as a play caller based on coverages you're predicting they're going to give you in certain parts of the field, certain downs and distances and things like that. So there's a lot of calculation when you see those play sheets that they're all holding and putting up to their mouth and go, like, there's different field zones in that. There's different down and distances in that. There's a bunch of different things in that they're calculating going through every play that they only have like 30 seconds to call once the ball gets, spotted back down by the ref. So there's a lot that goes into it. And as a player, like as an offensive lineman, like, listen, we go into the line and yeah, there's times where like, hey man, be nice to get a run here and it's a pass and you're like, well, okay. And the pass turns out to be a really good play and you're like, well, it looks like I'm the idiot because the pass worked. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like one of those things that I never really questioned it. Like the only time that I would ever question things is when we were down on like the inside the 5 and we would throw the ball a bunch. That to me, it always bothered me a little bit because what I like to do is I like to spread teams out and run the football. Give Aaron the option to pull it and throw it or hand it off to whatever running back up the middle and he can find his way because you'd have a light box, you'd have 6 guys in the box, and you'd have 4 wide receivers spread out, and you can pull it and throw it or hand it off based on, you know, the coverage and what the linebackers do. So, like, that's what I always thought. But then when you just don't even give the option to run it and it's just a straight pass, like, that's where I think us offensive linemen got a little frustrated at times. But LaFleur, I mean, to LaFleur's credit, when in 2019, when he came in, like it was always a run pass option down there in the red zone. Like he always did that.
Yeah, well, I know why. If I had Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback, I'm going to look good in the red zone. It would be clear to me, someone can give me the evidence if you're the Institute, that the reason they were good in the red zone is because of Aaron Rodgers. Because once Aaron Rodgers left, they sucked in the red zone. Now, if I'm wrong, go ahead, show me the stats. But without studying it too much, that would seem to be the answer to me.
Well, you know, they were good in the red zone last year. Now this year they're back to 29th or whatever it is, right? Like
right.
It's,
I don't remember what it was last year.
Yeah, I think they were pretty good last year in the red zone. But now they're 29th, and that's a bad number. That is not good. Like, I mean, you and I always kind of talk about, you know, what statistics do you want to be at? You know, like which ones actually matter, right? Like points allowed, I think, is a big one. I think points scored is a big one. But what I think is really big is like rushing yards and red zone efficiency, offense and defense. How many touchdowns are you giving up in the red zone, and how many touchdowns are you scoring in the red zone? Those to me are big numbers. And when you're an offense and you're not scoring touchdowns and you're kicking field goals, that's a bad stat to have, because if you look at how it normally ends up in the Final Four, you know, the Final Four teams, there's a good chance all those 4 teams are top 10 in red zone. There's a very good chance that they punch it inside the 20, and because that's what good teams do. Like I don't know if anyone watched that Chiefs Buffalo game the other night, but like Josh Allen from the 20-yard line, cashing it in, running it in from 20 yards out, like that's what the teams do from the 20 and in. They punch it in. They find a way to do, whether it's running, throwing, whatever. So that to me is a stat that jumps out right now that they need to clean up. That needs to be a major emphasis going forward, because I don't see the offense struggling to get down there. Like they can get down there. Like we've seen they can get down there. They have no issue moving the ball up and down the field. It's when they get inside the 20, something's going on. And correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think right now, inside the red zone, I don't think they're running the football efficiently. And when you're down in the red zone, things tighten up. You know, there's not as much space for the receivers. The windows close quicker. The quarterbacks have to make very quick decisions and fit the ball in very tight windows. And you need to be able to run the football. And they just haven't been able to run it good in the red zone. And I think that's why that number is what it is. And last year, they were able to run the ball really well in the red zone with Aaron Jones. Like obviously, we saw him come alive at the end of the season last year. He had a monster second half of the season. They ran the ball really well, in all different parts of the field. And when you're able to do that, it opens up things for the pass in the red zone as well. And that's just kind of what we're not seeing right now from them offensively in that particular zone of the field.
Which doesn't make sense as well if Jacobs has been. Well, you've just told me what I'm now going to want in the red zone every time. I want my 5 offensive linemen, a quarterback, a running back behind him. That's 7, and the 4 other people spread out. And that means the defense can only have so many people to block the run.
Yes.
Otherwise, the quarterback's going to pick he looks at those 4 matchups. If I got one really good matchup I like, and one of them is going to be Kraft or something, and then of course you just have them set a pick, because that's part of every pass situation now. And you just have to make sure. But I would think that is the perfect setup formation to run the ball, right? Yes. I mean, you're only going to the most they can have is like 7 people, and I would think that you would feel comfortable.
Yeah, you would cut someone loose on the backside, and you would cut 2 essentially loose on the backside and block the 5 front side and hope the running back gets in. That's what you would do. That's what you count your numbers. And what we always did and what Aaron always did so well, and this is what he did all the time, when he would throw it in the red zone, he would fake the run away from Jordy or Tay running a slant on the backside, get all the movement over there. Tay and Jordy would run a quick slant, and he would just pepper it to him right in the end zone right there. There'd be nobody over there.
There can't be anybody over there.
Exactly.
And other times he would run the ball, right? Instead of doing that. And then a team has to overplay that maybe a little bit, right?
Yep, exactly. And then for the lineman, it's just getting a body on a body and letting the running back find his way into the end zone. And that's like, we have a back in Jacobs that can do that. Like, he can do that. If you allow him to see all that space, right? Five offensive linemen. There's 6 guys in the box, maybe 7, depending on what they want, how the defense is going to play you. Like, you cut 2 loose on the backside, you got to press it front side and just follow your lineman in. I mean, I'm talking from like the 5 and in, because like that's where they're like. I mean, we saw them get stuck at the 10. I think he threw the pick at the 13-yard line, or I forgot exactly where it was, but it was somewhere around there. He threw the pick where they were at.
It was 3rd and 11 at the 15.
Okay, at the 15. But like, it's just, to me, we were in 11. I always felt like we were in 11 a bunch inside the 20. So like, well, you just said it. 4 down, 4 wide receivers, 1 back, 1 tight end, or
Right. Well, I'm saying like 4, counting the tight end.
Yes,
so you got
exactly.
4 spots,
11.
3 wide receivers, tight end, or 4 wide receivers. I just would have thought, to me, that Kraft would have been such a huge part of the red zone, like be one of those guys you couldn't stop. So maybe I'm missing something about him.
You know what? And he was quiet yesterday.
Yes, very.
He was quiet yesterday, which is surprising. But you know what? The thing is, like, it's not me dismissing the Bears' defense, because I think they have solid players on that side.
And they're
of the
fabulous in the red zone. Actually, they were like they're like 1 or 2.
Yes, they're very good in the red zone. But like, I look at the things that happen to the Packers offensively, then instead of like what they did instead of what the Bears did, because like we saw what Green Bay, like they moved the ball up and down the field, no problem. Like, it seems like they, or at least in times throughout that game, it was like it was nothing. Like they could do whatever they want. They could run it. They can pass it. I mean, Jacobs was great out of the backfield, as a receiver. Like, it was fantastic. And it's more of what Green Bay did to themselves than what the Bears were doing, because I think in the reverse fixture of this, I mean, I think LaFleur is going to – Green Bay is going to have them. I mean, it's going to be bad for the Bears. But maybe I'm looking way too far ahead to that. But I'm just saying that I look at this game more of what Green Bay did to themselves and what Chicago did to Green Bay. I mean, because still at the end of the day, right? Let's look at our defense too. We gave up 20 points?
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's fine.
You give up 20 points in the NFL, you should win the game. I mean, that's the way it goes, right? Like, you expect your offense to score 21. You should expect your offense to score 21. And they did. They just got that number, but credit to the defense. You said it. Caleb Williams, I think, played his probably best game of the season.
And when the defense needed to force him to punt, they did.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to do it. Green Bay, went for it on 4th and whatever, which I thought was stupid. But but they did, and now it's like, all right, the last possessions of the Bears had been field goal, touchdown, and touchdown. Last 3 possessions. Now you force them to punt, did what you had to do, and then the offense. So you don't play that game, but that's what winning teams do. And no one really believes the Packers are ready to be a team like that. But you lived it. You told us. Didn't matter what the score was. You knew you could win with Aaron Rodgers. Well, this is a perfect example of how it happens.
Yep.
When the defense takes up.
Yeah, well, that's how they feel with Jordan Love, too. I mean, he drove him down the field, got him the game-winning drive. And there's two ways to look at this win, at least for me. Like, I look at it because now I'm not in the locker room anymore. It's like, all right, there's a lot of things that need to get tightened up here. Like, that game against the Bears, like, it should look cleaner than that. Like, that game should not have been that close. But from their standpoint, the Packers, that is, this could be like a galvanizing moment for them, a huge momentum swing in their favor going forward. Like, this could be something in the locker room that really sparks something that kick starts the second half of the season. And I get it. Like, it's no way to live like that, like blocking a field goal to win a game with time expiring. Like, that's no way to win football games, because, like you said, it happens 1 in every 100. But these are the kind of moments that could jumpstart something in that locker room to wake guys up. Like, hey, it was close. We got it done, but like, what a moment. Let's ride this wave and keep it going. But, we'll see, because who's coming into town next?
You play like this, based on what you've said, you could easily lose the next 2 games.
Yes,
Miami's a different team now.
Yes, they could.
Right.
Yes, they could lose the next 2 games, for sure. Yes. Remember what I said to you on Monday? I said there is a way Green Bay can lose this game to Chicago. Mm-hmm. I said there is a way.
They showed you exactly right. We did take a break as Rob Demovsky is coming a little bit, and we need more from Doc. The doctor of football, Bryan Bulaga, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
The headaches continue because of the wet roads. Southbound on 41, backups because of a crash that is blocking the right lane just south of Main Street. When we've got another accident northbound on 41 at Silver Spring. The right lane is blocked, and that's making for delays pretty much all the way back to Capitol Drive. 894 northbound, we had that earlier accident at National Avenue. It is gone. Delays are working themselves out slowly. 94 eastbound, we had an accident at 84th Street. That one's just about wrapped up as well. We got general delays pretty much everywhere else. You do want to be extra careful on southbound 43, slowing from Silver Spring pretty much all the way down through the Marquette, all the way down past Lapham. Traffic is brought to you by the Bartolotta Restaurants, providing memorable experiences for nearly 30 years. Get the perfect holiday gift this season, a Bartolotta's gift card. Purchase yours at bartolottas.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, on and off rain, mild, windy, a low of 52. Tomorrow, morning rain, breezy and mild, a high of 60. Weather is brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Always have a slice of summer by playing Pro Tour courses on one of their 12 simulators. Book a bay for just $35 Monday through Thursday. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game, so that's what it needs to be. I think his legs... Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry. Are you guys being serious? You guys can't put 2 and 3
I got it. I did not get it.
They don't call themselves Racine Danish turnover.
Sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you two, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
All you men, listen up. It's future Mrs. Brust here. I want to tell you about my wonderful experience at Robert Hack Diamonds. My fiancé Ben and the team at Robert Hack picked out my dream engagement ring for me, and then I personally worked with their team to pick out the perfect wedding band. Experience what I did at Robert Hack Diamonds. Stop in at their Brookfield or Greenfield location. While you're there, mention ESPN and spend at least $2,000 right now on any of their in-stock jewelry and get a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. It's a deal you can't pass up. If it wasn't for Robert Heck Diamonds and their team of jewelry experts, I wouldn't have trusted my fiance Ben to make the right call. View what they have in stores online at roberthackdiamonds.com and get free diamond stud earrings. All you have to do is mention ESPN at their Brookfield or Greenfield locations when purchasing at least $2,000 of in-stock jewelry. I promise you won't be disappointed.
The holiday season officially begins at your local Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis Auto Group dealerships with our exclusive Black Friday all-month-long sales event. Huge Black Friday all-month-long savings and discounts on America's best-selling brands from both Buick and GMC at nearby Cunis locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. All remaining new 2024 vehicles are now Black Friday all-month-long blowout price. Cunis has the area's biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, with many Black Friday all-month-long priced below $5,000. And payments as low as $149 per month. Additionally, with any new or pre-owned purchase in November, you'll get our exclusive no-fear lifetime warranty at absolutely no extra charge. Plus, we're paying above top Kelley Blue Book values on all trades in November, no matter the mileage or condition. The holiday season officially begins with exclusive November Black Friday all-month-long savings. Only at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis Auto Group dealerships. Shop online at CunisBlackFriday.com.
Ho, ho, ho! This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
1, 2, 1. Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. And Holtebeck Eye Center. They want everybody to take care of their eyes, whatever your age, whatever your situation. That's the philosophy of Dr. Aaron Holtebeck, Brookfield office. They make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art office. He wanted to do it even better, so though he's been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years, says, I got to add somebody. I'm bringing in Dr. Nausheen Abbas because she's good at even other things. So we got it all covered. Whatever your issue, take care of your vision. Trust the experts, Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield, near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com. We don't have much time in the second quarter because Rob Demovsky coming on soon, but we do have time to hear from the doctor of football, Bryan Bulaga. Did you watch this game twice? Did you watch this a second time?
Twice, yeah. I'll have a little more detail on it for Thursday's program.
All right, a little positive. What was the best part about the game?
The best part, other
than the missed field goal.
No, I think Christian Watson and how he played. He was fantastic. You know what I mean? And it's good to see him have that type of performance and that type of day. You know, he's kind of been under the radar, hasn't had many targets and many opportunities, and to see him make the most out of the opportunities when he got the ball thrown at him. Really happy for him because, we all kind of know what he's gone through the last few years with the injuries and all that. And listen, you can't avoid hamstring injuries are what they are. You can't really – there's nothing to really say about them. They're soft tissue. They stink. But to see him kind of come through that and have a game like this on the stage that it was against the Bears and when they really needed it, really happy for him. So that's my one big positive.
Offensive line thought. I don't need it in detail, but I'm always curious as to what you want to say.
Yeah, no, I thought the offensive line played solid, especially up front in pass protection. I thought they did a nice job. I thought in the run game, I thought Jacobs had a fairly good day. I didn't think. He didn't go over 100. I don't think, but
in touches and catches, he had 124 yards.
Yeah.
In 30 touches or something, 100 and so.
Yeah, no, Jacobs had a great day, but I thought the offensive line had a pretty good day. I thought they controlled the Bears front. I know Zach Tom took care of their best pass rusher, Montez Sweat, the whole game.
Yeah, they mentioned that I think at some point in the game too.
Yeah, you didn't hear anything from Sweat all game, and that's what elite tackles do. They erase great pass rushers, and that's what Zach Tom did. So I thought they played well. Getting Josh Myers back, and I've said it, and I was his critic last year. This year, I'm heaping praise on him because I think he's playing a lot better. Getting him back really brings stability to that front. It brings a comfort level to guys. There's no rotations happening, as we know, because Jordan Morgan's out. There's no rotations, and I thought the line played well. So I'll get a little more detail on it when I watch it back again. But from my first glance at it, I thought they did a nice job. I thought Jordan Love had all the time he needed. There's always going to be a pressure here or there. That happens.
I say he looked 100%.
Love?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked really good. I thought his pocket movement was really good. He was able to step up and through throws. I thought he looked really good. That week was huge for him. Huge.
All right, Josh Jacobs specifically, 22 touches, 134 yards on receiving and rushing. All the questions. Can't wait to see what the questions the Doctor of Football, Bryan Bulaga, has got for Rob Demovsky. Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
We still have some issues out there. First of all, an accident on westbound 894 heading into the Hale interchange with the left lane blocked, making for big delays all the way back past Loomis. We've also got an accident on eastbound 94 just past Barker Road. Right shoulder is blocked with that. Things are slowing down all the way back to basically Highway 16. We've got 41 southbound really heavy from Silver Spring pretty much all the way down to Capitol, and then again from Mayfair Road all the way down through the Zoo interchange through the Hale onto 894 eastbound. Southbound 43 is very heavy as well, coming in from Capitol Drive down through the Marquette all the way down to Holt Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, on and off rain, mild windy with a low of 52. Tomorrow morning rain, breezy, mild, a high of 60. Weather's brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Always have a slice of summer by playing Pro Tour courses on one of their 12 simulators. Book a bay for just $35 Monday through Thursday. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. Zero sugar, zero carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Get ready for the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the 300K season finale giveaway at Potawatomi. Friday, December 20th, watch your entries from Bird Bash, Cash Clash, and Winter Stash. All pile into one massive drawing for a chance at up to 50 grand cash. Be there to win your share. December 20th, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/finale. Must be 21 years old to play.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
And free groceries.
Okay, just calm down. We'll get to that later.
Stay tuned in right here to score free groceries.
Stop, please.
Okay, I'm shutting up. My lip is zipped.
Anyway, let's get to this week's specials at Century Foods. Now through Wednesday, save on 5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Sargento shredded cheese, 2 for $6. 45 ounce selected varieties Country Crock, $5.49. 12 ounce selected varieties Cremette egg noodles, 2 for $4. 10 to 54 count selected varieties Hefty plates, bowls, or bags, 2 for $4.
And now time for the big reveal. Free groceries.
That's too over the top. Try this. Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Forget it. I'll handle the rest. Enter to win $500 worth of free groceries on Century's Facebook or Instagram by January 8th.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Wallace. Right now at Universal Windows Direct, get 0% financing for 60 months, restrictions apply. For the last windows you'll ever need, go to uwd.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Windows Direct.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Best segment of the show. I'm curious every week what questions the doctor of football, Bryan Bulaga, is going to ask Rob Demovsky, and I'll find out right now.
Rob, good evening. How we doing?
Good, Brian. How are you?
I'm great. So before we get into specifics of games and certain things, what was your takeaway from the game? Positive, negative? What stood out to you? What was kind of your overall, feeling walking out of the beautiful Soldier Field on Sunday?
I think the first thing I thought was, man, did they get lucky? Because, so many things that they did either backfired or didn't work out or they just didn't execute. And when you have a game like that and you still walk away with a win, and you know this as well as I do, there's a big difference in this league between 7-3 and 6-4, especially coming out of a bye. I think they got really lucky. Going back and rewatching the game today, it's just hard to believe that they only ran 43 offensive plays. Like, there just wasn't a lot to dissect. But, when you can't sustain drives and the other team goes, what were they, 8 out of 13 or 8 out of 15 on third down, it's hard to keep anything going.
Yeah. So you get to talk to LaFleur after, the game and what I thought I read something. You could divulge a little bit more on it, but what was the thought on the fourth down going for it? I saw something about 2 or 3% decision on analytics. Yeah. What was the deal on that?
So he said today that he went back and checked with his analytics people just to see if his thinking was right, and he said that they told him that it was not much of a difference going for it versus kicking the field goal in terms of win probability, but that it was a 2 or 3% better chance of winning if you go for it there. Now,
hold on, Rob, I got to interject here for a second because I want to know the analytics. How do you have that analytics with a team that's the worst in the league in the red zone against the defense that's the best? I question whether analytics takes those factors. If they don't, it's crap. Now, do they take into effect
and that's my beef with all this crap, Homer, is that there's this expected completion percentage or yards over expected. Well, who's throwing the football? Back in the day, they would say Aaron Rodgers threw a pass that had 1.5% chance of being completed. Well, maybe with Aaron Rodgers throwing it had a 15% chance of it being completed, and with Sam Darnold, it had a 1%.
Well, ask the head coach at some point when you can as to whether that is a part of it, because if it's not, then the numbers are garbage.
I've asked our analytics people that, and they basically look at me like I have 3 heads. So I don't know that they know the answer.
All right, sorry to interrupt. You two go back together.
No, that's okay. But his justification, I don't know, what was there, about 10, 11 minutes left in the game? His justification was that he didn't think there was going to be a lot of possessions. I get his explanation. I just don't know that I agree with it. And on the flip side, this is the guy who kicked the field goal in the NFC Championship game when he probably should have gone for it. So I don't know. I question the thought process there. The execution is what it is, but I question the thought process.
What do you blame their red zone inefficiency on? They're ranked, what are they, 28th or 29th in red zone? What in your opinion is holding them back in the red zone?
Well, I thought early in the year it was some penalties where they get in some bad down and distances and get stuck behind the sticks. Yesterday I thought it was play call and decision making. The first time down there or the second time down there, you have 2nd and 1 from the 5 and you call a pass play. Like, I mean, just run it. You got Josh Jacobs who's playing pretty well, and then they end up in a penalty situation. They're backed up a little bit, and it goes haywire. Like to me that was a play calling issue. Like don't throw the ball on 2nd 1 from the 5. And then and then you get a penalty. I think it was did they get an ineligible man downfield on that play? If I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Now all of a sudden it's backed up. So like at some point you just got to be.
Uh-oh.
And I think they'd have a little bit more success there.
Yeah. So now we kind of. I'm going to move to the other side of the ball because I think it's something we've all talked about, and I'm kind of getting tired talking about it, but we have to talk about it. The pass rush again against a bad Bears offensive line was really not there until the last drive.
Right.
What does Hafley need to do now going forward to get a pass rush? Because we sent off Preston Smith because he wasn't able to do it. So now what?
Well, I feel like we talked about this on the pregame show, didn't we, Brian? And we didn't really have a whole lot of answers there either. The one thing the game told us was that they're going to use Brenton Cox just as much, if not more, than they're going to use Lucas Van Ness, which is incredible when you consider that Brenton Cox had gone the first 28 games of his NFL career as an inactive, every game last year and the first 9 this year, and Lucas Van Ness is the first-round pick, and Brenton Cox is getting as many snaps and is probably, well, not probably, he was more effective. I asked LaFleur about that today, and he said, I think you're going to see more of Brenton Cox. Now, they did, when it did matter, on those first 2 plays of the last drive, they got after him. And then I went back and watched the 3rd down play, and Kingsley Enagbare had Caleb Williams there on a sack on 3rd down, and Williams sort of eluded him, and Enagbare jumped over him. But they could have legitimately had 3 sacks on those first 3 plays. Then it would have been 4th and 1,000,000, and they probably don't even get in position to try that field goal. So I think they got to look at what happened there and why they were effective. Now, why they were effective is probably because they knew that the Bears were going to pass. But I just don't know. I just don't know if there's a solution to it this year. I just don't know that it's going to get a whole lot better. They're just going to have to find ways to get incrementally better and see if that's enough. But because I don't think there's any major change that they can make at this point. 10 games into the season, you sort of are who you are.
Yeah, there's no magic fairy dust you're going to wave over it that's going to make it come to life. And that's just what it is. I guess, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I look at it different. I would like to see, and it's not going to happen because of the depth we have interior-wise, I would like to see Van Ness rush over the guard. That's just me personally, but I'm not a football coach.
Well,
Yeah,
but Brian, the thing is, okay, like when you played tackle, and you saw guys move inside, like it had, you had to think about it a little bit more, right? Like the other guys had to think, okay, what's this guy going to do to me when he's used to rushing on the outside? I remember a few years ago, I can't remember if it was when you were here or not, but like they would play 3 edge rushers and like Zadarius Smith would line up inside, right? So like maybe they need to play, Van Ness and on the inside and Gary and either Enagbare or Cox on the outside. Like maybe there's a way to get more than 1 edge rush or more than 2 edge rushers on the field in those situations. The problem with Van Ness yesterday, he got sucked in on some runs that he lost contain on too. So I mean the danger with him when they took him, and he's super talented, was that he didn't have a whole lot of experience. He didn't have a whole lot of snaps under his belt. He was never a starter at Iowa, and maybe that's, maybe we're seeing a little bit of that. The transition's going to take a little bit longer with him. I don't think it's a lost cause by any stretch of the imagination, but they're going to have to find the right spot for him in order for him to be effective, because at this point they haven't really found that yet.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What have you heard about Jair? What's
I can help you guys on that. He's hurt. He's always hurt, and it's a flip of a coin every game as to whether or not he's going to play. That is Dr. True. I have no football expertise, but I follow this.
The problem, Homer, is that when you make him active, and you put a guy like Robert Rochelle down, and then you lose Jair, midway through the second quarter. Now you're down a guy, right? And that's the problem with not knowing, if a guy can fully go. Now, they were going to limit his snaps anyway, and that LaFleur said today that midway through the second quarter, he just said, I can't go. And so now you've wasted one of your game day activations or active spots on a guy who's done midway through. And he did say, we asked him if that's going to have to impact whether put him up next week or not. And LaFleur said, yeah, now they have to factor that in to whether they're sure he can go. And it's not just a trial, because you can't just throw a guy out there not knowing if he's going to get through because of that previous injury. You can obviously get re-injured, you could get hurt, but if it's the same injury that you started with and you can't get through the game, that's a real problem.
Yep. Do you think that this? It's not that I think that this is who the Packers are. Like what we saw yesterday, I don't think that that's who Green Bay is. Like I don't think that that's who they are. But if that's, they can't get away continuing to play that way as this thing goes on, correct? Like winning games like that, as Homer said, that's 1 in 100. That's 1 in 100 to block a field goal like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of fool's gold, but I still say that this is a momentum game, and when you win a game like that, I think it creates some momentum going into the next week, and you realize that you kind of got lucky and you got away with one. And maybe you dial in and get a little sharper. I still think this is a good football team. They're going to win. They're going to win 11, 12 games minimum, right? They're already at 7, so that's going to position them for a run. You just got to dial in, some of the things that we're talking about here, because you're going to be in the tournament. Now it's a question of whether when you're there, you can eliminate some of the mistakes and some of the things that they did, because they're in a pretty darn good position, even if they don't win the division, to make a run at this thing.
All right, we've run out of time. Who played best defensively?
Oh boy, I don't know. Maybe Brenton Cox.
Okay,
he had a big impact.
All right, you're the doctor. You got a final quick one for Rob, Bryan?
I got nothing. He answered everything I had questions on.
I'm not asking for your opinion. I think this is a good Bears team when Caleb Williams plays that well. Now, maybe he'll never do it again, but if you tell me Caleb Williams is going to play like that, I'll take the Bears to win 4 out of 10 games against the Packers. Am I crazy?
I like him. I came away impressed with him. I really did. Now, I don't know how much of that was the scheme change, but that throw he made where he teardropped it in on third down going to his left, I thought was a pretty darn good throw.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, we'll be seeing you.
Sorry I interrupted too much. Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN. After every single green and gold game,
you can say it doesn't matter, but that's not being fair.
There's only one place to go for instant reaction.
Once, since they won the Super Bowl in 2010, one season, have they done better than 10th in points given up.
And to give yours on the Boda Box Wine Line. Tune into Green Bay Game Night with Homer after every green and gold game. Right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Thanksgiving is almost here. What are you bringing to the table? Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Pairing the right wine with your Thanksgiving dinner can turn your meal into a celebration. But you don't have to be an expert to find the right wine. That's what our knowledgeable staff is here for. With over 8,000 varieties of wine, Discount Liquor can help you choose between a light, fruity Pinot Grigio, a big, luscious Cabernet, or anything in between, all at the lowest prices in town. Visit us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha. Voted best liquor store again!
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Check out all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com. And from our family to yours, have a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Discount liquor.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it, I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for free when you mention ESPN and purchase at $2,000 of in-stock jewelry? You'll receive a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield or in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Spend at least $2,000 on in-stock jewelry and you get 2-carat diamond studs free, as long as you mention ESPN. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. Robert Hack Diamonds, RobertHackDiamonds.com, RobertHackDiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
Cousins Subs is spicing things up this fall with a new sub and a delicious shake. The Chipotle Cheesesteak Sub with either grilled-to-order chicken or steak features pepper jack cheese, sautéed green peppers and onions, jalapenos, and Chipotle ranch dressing. And that's not all. Pair your Chipotle Cheesesteak with a new pumpkin pie shake and your taste buds will fall in love. Order in-store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Brighten up your home, workplace, or event with flowers and trust Welke's Milwaukee Florist to be your local florist. Welke's is family-owned and has delivered beauty for customers and businesses for well over 100 years. Join Welke's Flower subscription so your home is always fresh, or discover the benefits of creating a corporate account and leave the work to them. Welke's Milwaukee Florist has locations in Elm Grove and at 56th and North in Milwaukee. Go to Welkes.com, that's WELKES.com for more info and to place an order.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff. We like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated and uncompromising, like an award-winning men's grooming experience from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Open 7 days a week, even Sundays. Walk in anytime, and before you know it, our talented stylist will bring you back to a simpler time, a time when you were handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza with the delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. And tune in to Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR benefits consultant. Behind the Bucks dives deep into Bucks and Six, a culture unknowingly created by former Buck star Brandon Jennings. Take a look inside the Brandon Jennings story, the origin of Bucks and Six, how it became the rallying cry, and what it truly means to Jennings and Bucks fans alike. Find Behind the Bucks on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher. This is the Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour, and I said that I apologize for interrupting too much. And after I said that, I looked over and Bryan Bulaga was laughing, because I know deep down he will claim that I have never, ever been sorry once in my life for interrupting too much or too soon. Am I correct, Doctor of Football?
You're fine. I
know I'm fine.
Every time you interject, you came with a good question. So it's not like you interjected to talk about the weather or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was fine.
But I wasn't really sorry, and I shouldn't have said that. I've been hearing that for 30 years, and if I really cared, I would have changed, and I haven't. I don't know. Nobody else has really talked about Caleb Williams the way I have, and I really want to see him watch. I want to watch him the next game to see if he's potentially capable and that good. I haven't followed the Bears. I can't believe he's played a game that well this season, but somebody else could. I'm proud to say I don't really know. Do you give him as much credit as I am? I think you're still more disappointed in the Packer defense.
Yeah. Listen, I think he can end up being a good quarterback. I mean, that was his best game of the season, right? And it was against our defense, so that makes me a little disappointed in the defense, especially the guys up front for not rattling them more than what they should have. But you know what? Like, there's a chance Caleb Williams ends up, especially under the right offensive coordinator, under the right scheme, ends up being a really good quarterback. Because, I mean, obviously the first how many games they played, it was not good, and he got a new coordinator, and he looked way better. Kind of a change-up of scheme, it looked way better. So there's a chance that this turns around for him, and he starts trending in a positive direction for the remainder of the way. I mean, it's not that I hope the Bears do well or anything like that, but, you just for their sake, with the cycle that they have, every 2 years they fire a coach, get a new quarterback. You hope that they break the cycle, but we'll see. I don't know. I think it's way too early to judge, and with him really only playing his best game of the season, in my opinion, just yesterday, it's hard to say, like, he's the real deal. It's hard to say that yet.
Talking with the Dr. Football, Bryan Bulaga. He hasn't watched the game a second time. Why he needs to is beyond me. But the question I'll bet everybody asks you, and I want to ask you, you ready? Since you played on good teams, we're 10 games into the season. How many years did you know how good your team was that year at this point? And how good is this Packer team? What do you say, and with what confidence? And granted, they play one more game, so you got 7 more and likely 3 playoff games to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so the one time, like, you normally have a really good idea of who you are as a team at this point in the season, right? You play 10 games, you should know where you're at and how you're playing and who you are, and have a good idea in that locker room of the type of team you can be. I will say that the one time I really had no idea was 2016, when we were terrible, and then we turned it around and made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. We rattled off like 8 in a row and made it all the way to the NFC Championship. We lost to Atlanta, but that was about the only time that we went through a season that I was like, man, like, are we good? Are we bad? I don't really know. But I think this Green Bay team is good. I think this is a good football team. I really do. I mean, they're finding ways like this to win.
What's the best thing about them?
Right now, I think it's their, like, I think it's the grit of the team to pull out these wins. Like, it's hard to win in the NFL. I will give them that. It is hard to win, and being able to win these close games, like you look at Houston, you look at this one, you look at which one would they have earlier in the year that they pulled out?
I can't remember, but they've had it.
Yeah.
The defense had to do what they hadn't done, and the offense had to do what they hadn't done. They both did it and won the game.
Yeah, so, like...
All right, what's the worst? What's the toughest thing for you to handle about this team? Drives you crazy.
I just think... I'd say right now the pass rush and the turnovers. Those things I just don't like those things. Like... and I get what Jordan Love it was a bad throw. It wasn't a decision, but, like, I know he can do better, right? We saw it. And that's all I want to see is him, like, clean that up just a little bit.
All right, we got it. There'll be more Bryan Bulaga later this week. And, of course, last week, if you didn't catch it, the Bryan Bulaga story, This Is My Life, to help everybody, parents, kids who dream of playing big-time college or professional football. His story, and it's fantastic, and more than that, it is helpful. He had no interest in doing it. I forced it upon him. We'll find out how he feels on Thursday. To Potawatomi, Gary and Greg next.
Well, now that we're accident-free, we still have some delays to contend with. Southbound 43 is backed up from Capitol Drive pretty much all the way down through the Marquette interchange down past Lapham. On the northbound side, we've got